All right, let's talk about if statements. I've taken a regular web browser and I right-clicked and hit inspect. I'm over on this little console window here. This allows me to type in arbitrary JavaScript statements. So I can do things like 5 is exactly equal to 5, which is a comparison, and it prints out true. Or I could say 5 is not equal to 6 or 7. And it also evaluates the true. I could say 5 is exactly equal to 5, like that. Another type of comparison, at least the double equal sign evaluates that to true. Or if I do 5 triple equal sign in JavaScript, and that one says false because while at the value level they're the same, they're not the same type. This is a string, this is a number. I could also do other things like this. Let s name equal my name, and then I could say, do a little test here. S name is exactly equal to this, and it can come back as true. I could set it to other things, and so on and so forth. Okay, if we know how to do comparisons, we can go on to the next level in programming, which is to use if statements. If statements in JavaScript are made up of a keyword, which is the word if, and if is one of 63 keywords in JavaScript that you can't use for things like variable names because it's reserved. But this if keyword is very important. In the bigger world, there's a lot of things that we use if statements for, like if I'm hungry, then I'm going to eat, or if there's not enough money in a bank account, then the bank is going to refuse to issue you money at the ATM and things like that. So in terms of programs, the if statements are very, very important. All right, let's move over here and create a new file. Well, first I'm going to have to create a folder somewhere. I'm just going to open up on my particular computer. I have a bunch of HTML folders on my desktop. And then within a particular folder, I will say new file, and I'll call this one if.html. All right, that sounds pretty descriptive. All right, and then I'll do this little exclamation point, and that'll fill in a whole document for me, which is nice. And then I'll relax this little window over here on the left side. All right, now I can start thinking about JavaScript. So I will put my JavaScript right here in the middle of the page in a script tag. And let's do an if statement. I'll say if, and then I'll have some parentheses here, which is where we put a condition. And then right underneath it, I'll put alert. So this is going to be a pop-up box. Alert, it was true. Okay, so this is an area where we put in something that's either literally true or false or evaluates to true or false. So if I put in the word true here and then do save, and then I'm going to run a little program that I have, which is called Live Server. In another video, I'll plan on talking about how you would install that under extensions. But for now, I'll just say go live. And it pops it open and it says it was true. Yay! All right, let's go back over here. What if I change this to false? And I hit save. Well, because this is not true, then when I hit save, nothing happens. So this is a way that you could do things. And let me put in things that actually do an evaluation. What if I do 5 is exactly equal to 5? We should consider that that is something that is true. So if I hit save, it does come out as true. So again, like I said, whether we do literally something that evaluates to true or just literally true, we can make the thing that comes after that execute. Now, I didn't put any extra notation here like curly braces, and that can be a little bit dangerous because, let's go ahead and demonstrate. Let's say alert, this should only display if true. So imagine if in my head I'm thinking, oh, if this is true, whatever's in here, I want everything after it to execute. All right, let's see what happens. It says it was true. This should only display if true. Well, what if I go, is 6 exactly equal to 5? So I hit save, and then that other thing continued to display anyway. So what happened here? Well, what happens is when you use this syntax that does not have any curly braces, then an if statement will execute whatever the next line is, or up to the next semicolon, depending on how you arrange your code. Bottom line, it's a little bit ambiguous if you don't use curly braces, what it is that you want to execute. So most people, being safe, will wrap up their code in curly braces like this. So this is a block of code, and by following a conditional statement preceded by an if with curly braces, you can have an arbitrarily long number of things that get executed by the computer. Okay, so now we've learned the basics of doing an if statement. Let's now look at something that's practical. Imagine that we have an online donut business and we have a customer that wants to buy a donut from us. One of the things that we could do is check their credit card, and if their credit card is authorized, then we will give them their donuts, and otherwise we will not give them their donuts. So let's do this in a few steps, and I'm going to erase this and just start from scratch. So I'll say let, and then I'll have a Boolean variable be credit card authorized. Okay, so it doesn't hold anything yet. And then on a subsequent line, just to show that it's a distinct step, I'll say credit card authorized is true. Now I could have done this on one line and that would have been okay. I could have just said let be credit card authorized equals true semicolon. But technically those are two different steps, and so I'm just making it overt that and obvious that that's what's happening. So okay, let's do our if statement now. I'll say if, and I need something that evaluates to true or false, so let's grab that variable. So if that is true, then let's pop up a message on the page that says alert, we will sell you donuts. All right, so we hit save, and there we go, it popped up. Now if they had not been authorized, if this had been false, if I hit save, then nothing happens. Okay. Sometimes instead of just doing something that's saying the word true and checking for true, sometimes we want to check for the opposite condition. We want to check for if they had failed. So let's just say I wanted to check if the credit card was not authorized and tell them that. And how about this? I'll say credit card failed, no donuts for you. Okay. Right now, as it is, this is false. So this is also false, and so this is not going to run. But by convention, oftentimes what we do is we'll put this little not symbol there, which flips the meaning of this. When you put a not in front of something that's false, it becomes true. And if whatever's in here evaluates to true, then whatever's within the block is going to get executed. So if I were a programmer reading this and this is somebody else's code, I'm seeing that it says if the credit card is not authorized, then do whatever comes right after that. And so let's go ahead and watch that happen. There we go. Did exactly like we expected. Okay, we don't have to just do it with credit card authorizations. We could do it other ways as well. So let's once again start over again. Let's do it with a string. We'll say let string my name equals Tony Stark. Don't tell anyone. And then we'll say if and then we'll just check. Oops, it's a terrible. Let's try that again. S, my name. Okay, and then we'll do a check here. We'll say if my name is exactly equal to Tony Stark, then let's announce to the world what our superhero name is. And we'll say, alert, you are Iron Man. Perfect. All right, so let's check it out. Did this evaluation work? Yes, it did. Okay, so tons of fun. Okay, in addition to doing things with strings, we can do comparisons with numbers. So let's give this one a try. Let f coin value. And what I'm thinking here is, imagine that we have a gumball machine, and the gumball machine wants to know if you have 25 cents, then I will dispense a gumball. Otherwise, I'm not going to dispense a gumball. So I'll say let f coin value for a float, a decimal number, equals 0.25. And I'll say if f coin value is exactly equal to 0.25, then I'll say alert, dispense gumball. So I go ahead and hit save, and it pops up and it dispenses a gumball. Okay, so that's enough with the basics of if statements. In the next video, I'm going to start you off with a little bit of a challenge so you can exercise your newfound skills.